Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 201, Lysis 203a to 204a. Here's the story so far. Socrates has met a crowd of youths, probably around 15 or 16 years old. The two youths Socrates names are Hippothales and Ctesippus. Incidentally, both these names pertain to horses. Hippothales is someone who makes horses thrive, and Ctesippus, someone who owns horses. This tells us more about the aspirations of their parents than about them, although we may say that they have aristocratic names. It's usually aristocratic to have a name which includes horse, hippos. Well, I don't think I've forgotten anything from the summary of the beginning of the dialogue, so let's carry on with Socrates' narrative. Kai me prosionta Hippothales idon, o Socrates ephe, poide poriue kai pothen. And Hippothales, seeing me approaching, said, O Socrates, whither are you making your way, and whence? Ex academias endego poriumai Euthyphro. From academy, I said, I'm making my way straight to Lyceum. Well, now I remember that was right at the beginning of the dialogue. Socrates was making his way from academy straight to Lyceum. I remember it now. Socrates has reiterated his first sentence, almost word for word. I said at the time that there is no philosophical significance to this. The academy is not a place founded by Plato. Lyceum is not a place founded by Aristotle, but what is unusual, and apparently we are supposed to think about this because it's now been repeated, why is it significant that Socrates is walking directly from academy to Lyceum? He's avoiding the city, but in fact it isn't even that he's avoiding the city. It is that he's aiming directly at this place. What seems to be an accidental meeting with youths is actually something Socrates intended to do. This again is remarkably similar to what Socrates does in Politeia, Republic, where he says almost incidentally that he and Glauco in Phaedrus happened to meet Adimantus and Polemarchus. A careful reading of what Socrates says there shows that Socrates intentionally leaves as if to go back to Athens in order to get Polemarchus to send his slave to stop him and to invite him to his house where there will be a discussion, and in fact Socrates sets up the entire meeting which he narrates in Politeia, the second longest dialogue of all the dialogues. As I mentioned last time, the fact that Socrates is narrating the whole thing means that he can edit as he wishes, and he describes things that happen without giving the real reason for why the things happened. And here we have another example. He happens to be walking straight from academy to Lyceum, which itself is a mad thing to do, and he happens to meet youths. Now we'll see later on why Socrates knows that he will meet youths. That isn't yet clear. What is clear is that Plato, the dramatist, wanted us to understand that it is significant that Socrates was walking from Academy to Lyceum, but we don't have to give philosophical significance, or symbolic significance rather, because it is philosophically significant that Socrates knows what he's doing. He plans ahead. This is philosophically significant. Since it is a strange thing for Socrates to do, we may now expect that Hippothales will ask him why he's walking from Academy straight to Lyceum. So let's see how he reacts. Dioro de idhos Euthyphro. Hither, rather, he said, straight to us. Hippothales is playing on what Socrates said, so instead of going straight to Lyceum, he's suggesting that Socrates should go straight to them, the crowd of youths. Firstly, we learned that Socrates hasn't yet reached the boundary of Lyceum. They're still slightly outside Lyceum. And we learned that Hippothales, at least, is the sort of youth who is not interested in the motivations of other people. He is not concerned with the reason why Socrates is going to Lyceum, but he is concerned with his own emotions. He wants Socrates to come to them. In fact, it's not so much that Hippothales is not interested in the motivations of Socrates. He projects his own interests onto Socrates. He assumes that Socrates is as interested as he is in whatever it is he's going to talk about. U paraballes axion mentoi. Aren't you deviating? It's worth it. The verb paraballo is to put something by the side of something else, usually, so it can mean to compare, but here it's moving to the side of the root. The dictionary entry, which actually cites this place, just translates it as approach, draw near, but I think that misses the point. It appears from Socrates' own narrative that he was on course straight from Academy to Lyceum, but now he is being tempted off course. The fact is, as I see it anyway, that this is what gets him on course. This is what he had planned from the beginning. We'll see why I think so in a minute. Meanwhile, Socrates continues to play the innocent. Poi ephenego leges, kai paratinas tus humas. Whither do you mean, I said, and to you, being whom? Socrates answers hither with his own whither, which is a bit strange because he should be able to see where they are, and he answers Hippothales to us, straight to us, with the question, straight to you being who? Who are you? We already know that Socrates knows at least two of the youths, and yet he's asking who these people are, which should make us and the audience Socrates is talking to think, what is actually going on? Is Socrates really that stupid, or is he being devious? We should also notice pretty obviously that the original question whence and whither has been replaced by whither and to whom. The question whence is no longer of any importance. They already know that Socrates has come from Academy, but everyone is now interested in where he's going and who the people are when he gets there. Diuro ephe dexasmoi ento catanticru tu techus peribolonte tina caethiron aneogmenen. Hither, he said, this is Hippothales, showing me opposite the wall an enclosure and an open door. So there was some point asking whither, because the crowd of youths is not the final target. The enclosure is. Diatribomende edhos autothi hemeste autoi kai alloi panu paloi kai kaloi. We're spending our time here, he said, we ourselves and others, very many and handsome. Hippothales assumes that this will interest Socrates as much as it interests him. Socrates innocently replies, Estindere tituto kai tishe diatribe. And what is this? And what the pastime? Palaestra effe neosti okodomemene. A wrestling school, he said, recently built. Hede diatribe tapola en logos, hon hedeos ansoi metadidoimen. The pastime, for the most part, in words, which we would gladly share with you. Hippothales enjoys talking with handsome youths, and he projects onto Socrates that he also enjoys talking with handsome youths. He is half right, at least. Notice that a wrestling school is not where you mostly learn to wrestle. Part of the attraction for youth like Hippothales is that it's a place where you can watch others wrestle. Kaloske endego poiuntes. Doing finely, I said. It's not clear whether Socrates is approving in general the spending of time in words in the wrestling school, or whether he is reacting to the invitation to share their words with him. And now another innocent question. Didaskede tis autothi. But who teaches here? Sos hetairoske edhos kai painetes mikkos. Your comrade, actually, he said, and praiser, mikkos. Ma dia endego u fauloske haner al hikonos sophistes. By Zeus, I said, not worthless the man, but a capable teacher, while Sophos describes an expert as an expert, someone who is very good at his techne. A sophistes is the noun meaning an expert. So Socrates is surprised that his friend Mikkos has just built a palaestra, and it happens to be open today on his route from Academy straight to Lyceum.